Hey folks, welcome to INT1109. This is case 2, tutorial 2. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our Cengage. To get to our Cengage, we simply click on our home page, we open up our book. It should go on right here, and if I'm going to put this off to the side. If you don't get anything, remember to press that home key and then it should populate. We're going to go to Access Tutorial 2. We are doing case project 2. This is the chapter review, so just make sure you click on chapter contents. We are doing apply case 2 project. Okay, and our first step is to open the O'Brien database that we just created in step 1. So we're going to go ahead and wherever we save that, we're going to open our database. I'll make it small and put it over here so I can do them at the same time. Step 2 is open the tutorial table in design view and set the field properties as shown. We're going to open the table. The view is going to be design view. And here it's telling us to put certain items in, right? So I'm going to blow this up a little bit. So for example, probably not a good view there either. So for example, in tutor ID, short text, that's the primary key. We're going to field the 7 and the caption is tutor ID. So I'm going to do this first one and then you can do the rest. So let's put this to the side again. We're going to do a description of primary key. Field size, then we're in tutor. Let me make sure we click on that tutor. Field size is 7, and the caption ID is tutor ID. All right, so I'm going to pause the video while I type in the rest, and you can do that as well. So I've typed in all the information. You can simply click on them to verify. We're going to take that out there. You can see that there's something that should not be there, right? That should be in caption ID, not format. So it's good to check on it because even everybody else, everybody makes typos there, right? Okay. The next step is to add a field name of groups. Data type, it should be yes, no. And the caption should be groups only. We'll go ahead and save it. Next step is step 4. Save the tutor table. Click the yes button. So I've done that, right? Just did that really quick, but I'm going to go on to step 5. 5 is in the table sheet data specify the following tutors conduct group sessions only. So what view are we in? Well, we're in design view, and it's asking us to go in data sheet view. And then it's saying pick these tutors and check yes that they're the ones that do the group sessions only. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause the video. So in step 5, there should be 5. One of them is your name, and then the rest here. We close the video, or correction, close the table. We open the table, make sure that's still checked. And move on to step 6. For step 6, we're going to import a table that Karen made called a client database into your database, and a new table name, student in O'Brien database. So we're going to import. So we go to external data access. We're going to import an access database. We have to find it. If you remember, I've saved everything. Assignment 1. It's case 2. It's the client database. We're going to import it. I don't think we want to link it to it, right? We're going to import the table, right? And we're going to give it a name of student in the O'Brien data table, or in the O'Brien database. Delay there. Just took a minute. I'm not going to save the steps. Close. So it takes a minute. Just don't worry about if you get a delay. And now I have that student table. 7 here wants us to open this table in data view. Oops. We've got it opened in data view, not design view, right? We're actually in data view. It wants us to add 2 fields called birth date and gender. I'm going to go ahead and add them. Pause the video while I do that. First one, so that you have an example, you just right click, date and time. And what we're going to do is we're going to add birth date. And then gender is short text field. So you could do that by short text and add. Okay, for step 8, we're going to use the phone quick start selection in the data type gallery to add 4 fields. And we're going to put it between zip and birth date. So it's saying here to make sure that that birth date field is actually selected. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select the birth date field. Now we're going to go to field, right? We're going to do more fields. And we're going to do the quick start phone field. It's going to add four items there for us, right? Right. If we did not have that selected on the birth date, it would add it at the beginning of the table. Is to display this table in design view. I want us to delete the business phone and fax number fields. We're going to delete business phone and fax number fields. And save and close the student table. 10 wants us to reopen the student. We want the student table in design view. And it wants us to add the following field sizes, descriptions, and captions. Right, and then there's a note about the default value in, and it must be in quotations. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You should already know how to do that, but I'll go ahead and do one for you, and then I'll pause the video. So we're going to do the first one, which is the ID, which is primary key. Right, that's the description. Well, that's not correct. So let's go ahead and fix that. Student ID, primary key, short text, field size is 7, and the caption is student ID. So I'll go ahead and do the rest, and I'm going to pause the video, and you do the rest as well. Okay, class, so we went ahead and made the changes. We've had to change some of the things like cell phone had to be changed instead of mobile phone, field size, the caption input. So you can go through and check that and make sure it lines up with what you should have done here. The gender, you can see that in the description we had female or male, and the field size is 1. So what they want you to do there in the table is type in F, which is 1 letter for female, or M for 1 letter for male. 11, we have to move the last name field so it follows the first name field. So I simply select the last name, click and drag it to the first name field, so that switched. Step 12, we're going to save our table. So I try to close it. It's going to ask me to save it. I click yes, and double click it to open it back up. It's in datasheet view. And I'm going to go ahead and enter these items here into this field, or into this table. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause the video while I do that. You can do that as well. All right, class. So I went ahead and added the information that was in the lesson there to the table, which should look like the same. 13, the best practice there is to resize the fields as best fit. We'll go ahead and do that. And remember to do that. Let's minimize this and put it to the side here. And to do that, we're simply just going to right-click field width, best fit. We're going to do that to all these entries. All right, so probably here needs it. So there's a lot of room taken up. So again, you can do all of them at the same time if you want to by just selecting all field width and best fit. For step 14, we're going to import some text from our student data files. So of course, I'm going to go to external data. I'm going to do a text import. I want to find that this is the file that I'm looking for, but remember, I can go to my desktop. I put it in my assignment 1 folder. That's in access 1 case 2 student text, right? And what it wants us to do is specify that as the source, select the option for appending the data, select the student table. We're going to click OK. So now right here is in the import text wizard, wants us to choose the following options, right? We're going to do import delimited data, right? Use the comma delimiter. Okay. And import the data into the student data file. Click finish. It's going to take a while. And it says do not save the import steps. Close. So now if we look at our student data file, we have 40 records. And before we just had the 2 records that we inputted, and now there's 40. So now we're gonna open it and we're gonna resize it as needed. Right. So again, that best fit option is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna right click, field width, best fit. Thing to do, step 16, to create a new table in design view using the following items. The name of this table is contract table, right? So we're going to go ahead and create table. I'm going to go ahead and rename it. Because it's open, I can't rename it, so I'll close it real quick. Of course, it didn't create, there's nothing there yet. So I'm going to change the view to design view. We can't name it until I move out of it. And there's the, let's see if that's the right name. Contract table. So yes, we're in design view. So now what we have to do is we have to add following fields here. So you've done this a couple times. I'm just going to go ahead and do the first one, and then you can do the rest. So we're going to make this bigger. Get a little bit over here. So we need contract ID. So we're going to change that to contract. Okay, we're going to type short text primary key for the caption option of contract ID. So short text. Nope. Short text primary key field option of 4 and caption of contract ID. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it and add the rest. Okay, class, so I went ahead and entered all those information in there. You can see the field size, the descriptions, the captions. And this one you had assessment complete, yes, no, currency. This one you had to remove that default ID. Decimal places should equal 0. I think that one should also equal 0. I think that changed, so I'll go ahead and get that corrected. number of sessions, currency. Okay, so we've gone ahead and did that. We're going to go on to the next step. So step 17 is select the contract ID and make sure it's the primary key, and it is. If it wasn't, I could either click here or right click and assign it as the primary key. And it wants us to save the contract table. So that contract table is saved. We'll go on to the next step. 18 is to add a record or a field to our table, to our contract table. So we simply click on our table. I'm going to do it in design view. You can do it in any view that you like, in either database view or design view. I'm going to do mine in design view, and it wants it to be between the tutor ID and the session type. So between the tutor ID and the session type, I'm going to right click here. I'm going to insert a row. And the information that I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a field name contract date. Contract date. I think it's the date time group type. Data type date time group. And a description of the date contract is signed. Sometimes copying in this is a little bit difficult. We're going to need the short date as the format, and then the caption contract date. Short date as the format, captions contract date. We just completed that step. I'm going to go ahead and save and close the contract table. You can just simply click on X, it'll ask you to save it, and yes. So the next step, we're going to do another import. We're going to import some data files. What we're looking for is the Excel workbook, and that is, of course, in our folder that we've downloaded our data files in. So what we're going to do here is we're going to external data and import a workbook. We need to find it. It's called agreements. Let's go ahead and find that again. So you see how I do that. I saved it on my desktop. I put it in my assignment folder in Access 1, Case 2. There it is. And that's what we are looking for, the agreements workbook. We're going to specify that as the source. We're going to specify the option for appending data to the table. The table that we're going to import it into is the contract table. And click OK here. See what other options we need to select. Choose the agreements. There's the import spreadsheet wizard. And we're going to choose the agreements worksheet. Make sure Access confirms that the first row contains column headings and imports the contract table. So next, first row, I can't even uncheck that, right? So that's checked. Next, we're going to import it to the table. Let's see if there's any other options that it wants us to do. Finish. We're not going to save the steps. OK. So our contract table now has items in it. Before there was no data. We just set up these fields, and now there's actually contractors in there. Okay, for step 20, we have to add some records in the contract database for the contract table. It wants you to use the new blank record form. So this is kind of hard to find, but it's right down here. There's a little gold thing that highlights up when you just click on it or just select it the right way. So it just wants you to click this to enter in your data. So I'm okay with however you get that data in there. You can't highlight on a section, otherwise that section will be blank. So once you click on that, it highlights the area where you can type in the new record. So again, I'm okay with you just typing it in or cutting it in or however you've been getting it in there. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 new records. Pause the video while I do that. have those two records. I'm going to close out my table, reopen the table back up, and those two records are in there, 68, 72. Just to resize the basically best fit, we're going to go ahead and do that, right? I simply highlight all my fields, field width, best fit, that's complete. Okay, so step 22 is to define a one-to-many relationship between the database tables as follows: primary student table and related contract table between primary tutor table and contract table, then resize it so all the elements fit. So we're going to go to database tools, relationships. We're going to use all of our tables, right? We're going to have a relationship with all of our tables. I have to always resize it the way it's being read here. So it wants to be student, right, to contract, and contract to tutor. So I arrange it in that order. It wants us to read all the items in each table, so I just pretty much extend that out. We're going to have a student to contract, a one-to-many. I believe it wants referential integrity, so let's just take a peek. Select referential integrity and cascade updates for each. So create. Of course, it's being used by another person right now, so let's go ahead and close all the tables so that we can make sure we can create our relationships. I'm just simply right-clicking close. So let's try it again here. One-to-many, create. It needs to be student ID to student ID. So there's our one student could have many contractors, that one-to-many relationship. And then our tutor ID to tutor, right? And again, that's a one-to-many relationship. So we can have many contractors to one tutor, right? And you can have one student to many contractors. So this is how our relationship should look. That completes that. We're going to save the relationship window. And we're going to compact and repair our database. So let's get that open here. Compact and repair. File, save as, should still be O'Brien. And it should still be, I think, in our assignment folder. And that completes tutorial 2.